Blog Talk Radio. Has anyone ever told you dream too big, that you have too many ideas, that you need to be realistic? What if there was a career and lifestyle that you could completely design yourself that enables you to do what makes your heart truly sing and helps millions of people benefit from what you have to offer? One that provided you with all the money you need to thrive, not just survive. That is the life of an enlightened entrepreneur. Welcome to the Aha Moments radio show, dedicated to the inspiration, education, and celebration of enlightened entrepreneurs worldwide, with your host, Mariana Cooper, founder of Aha Moments Inc. and AhaMomentsInc.com. Her motto, oh yes, you can have what you want, and you deserve it too. Join us for the next hour and learn to trust your aha moments to lead the way to a passionate and purposeful life. And now here's your host, Mari.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Aha Moments radio show for the inspiration, education, and celebration of enlightened beings worldwide. I'm Mari, and happy Tuesday. We are in a very interesting energy right now, and that energy is all about change. Lots and lots of change. Last week we talked about the fun stuff, the summer solstice, and we also talked about the supermoon. And this week we are talking about Mercury in retrograde. We are talking about polarities. Last night I was actually teaching my advanced class last night, the As Above, So Below class, and last night's session was all about polarities, the polar opposites of energy that we have, the balancers that come into play, and how if we don't understand what those polarities are, we can really get ourselves tripped up with our energy. And so today we're going to talk a little bit about that. We're going to talk all about this whole Mercury in retrograde, which is starting tomorrow, June 26th, and it's going through July 20th. It is a 3-week period that happens 3 times a year. And even people who are not into the spiritual stuff know about Mercury retrograde. My sister, I have a lot of people who call me who don't really do a lot of this stuff, and they say, oh my gosh, it's Mercury retrograde, because it seems that it can wreak havoc with just about anybody. The only people who seem to get spared by the Mercury retrograde halo are the ones who were born during a Mercury in retrograde period. Those folks who were born, if you were born during the time of Mercury retrograde, you can look back in the calendars on that. You can just Google Mercury retrograde calendar for your date of birth and your year. If you're born during Mercury in retrograde, then you're looking forward to this time. All kinds of things fall into place because you're really in sync with the retrograding Mercury. So if you're lucky enough to have that have happened, then this time is not something that you are worried about. It's something that you actually look forward to. But for the rest of us who are not born during a Mercury in retrograde, this can be kind of a challenging time. So today I wanted to devote the show to just sorting some of those things out. We're going to talk about what the retrograde actually does, what we can do to be able to still function well and actually thrive during this time, because it does not have to be all dismal. And then we're going to do an activation tonight. I never, ever thought of this, actually, when I was asking my guides, what are we going to do on the show? And they were telling me, like, this morning at 5 a.m. I'm like, you guys are really waiting late. We have a show today. The energy has been so wonky, so I wasn't really getting anything clear, and I was just like, okay, I'll wait. And when they said that we were going to talk about Mercury retrograde today, they also said, we're going to do an activation. We're going to do a little meditation that's going to help people to balance during this time, to find that balance. So once we do it, you can listen to this as a podcast on the same site, and if you need to just find your center during this time, during these 3 weeks, this will be a great activation to be listened to once we do it later on in the show. I will also be doing some readings. I see that a lot of you are calling in, and Sam is already in the queue talking to many of you, so he will be getting to hopefully most of you, if we can, to get you in line to get your questions answered. And if you would like to call in with a question, the number is 347-215-9485. That's 347-215-9485. So anyway, let's get started. I wanted to mention two announcements, just so you always do our housekeeping at the top of the show. We have the master course, the Power Boosting, the Midsummer Power Boost course with Rudy Hunter. We've extended the early registration. We actually sold out really, really fast with the first 20 spots. And we have more than that at this point. So we decided we're going to extend the early registration for a little bit longer. So if you would like to register and still get the $100 off of the price, off the tuition, you can do that at ahamomentsinc.com/power boost, POWERBOOST. So that's ahamomentsinc.com/power boost. And that's going to be an amazing, amazing course. We're going to teach that for 4 weeks. It'll be 4 Mondays starting July 8th, so a week. We'll be starting, actually, I think it's a week from next Monday. Yeah, because July 4th is next Thursday, a week from this Thursday. So, yep, a week from next Monday we'll be getting started with that class. And Rudy is going to be doing activations that he's never done before. He's going to be doing a lot of processes and tools and things that he has not presented before. So I'm excited about that. We're going to get some nice, fresh new stuff. So if you're a Rudy Hunter fan and you have all his stuff, this will be some new stuff for you to experience. And we have people from all over the world who are registered for the class. It should be really, really fun, and I'm really looking forward to it. So you can go to ahamomentsinc.com/power boost. And next week we have Karen Abrams, who is a master theta healer, coming on the show. She's going to be doing theta healing sessions online on the show. And I'm excited about that, too, because she has agreed that she's going to do a master course series with us in September. So we'll be doing a 4-week theta healing master course, just like this Power Boost. I haven't figured out the name of it yet, but we will be doing that in September. So you wanted to keep that in the back of your mind. I'm not sure. Well, it'll be Monday nights. It'll be probably 2 Mondays, like the second 2 Mondays in September and the first 2 Monday nights or something in October. We're going to have another telesummit starting around then, too, to sort all the logistics and all the details around it. But Karen will be coming in for our next round of the Master Series. I really want to go deeper than the telesummits. The telesummits are great for getting the beginning information and getting some surface information for sampling a lot of different modalities. But I wanted to take the time each month, every 6 weeks or so, to do a nice, dive in deep with some of these amazing folks that we've had on the telesummit to really, really get more benefit from their work. And if you want to move fast and accelerate in your own personal growth and in manifesting and all the other stuff, really, conjuring up what you're most desiring, I can say from personal experience that the more clearing and more work you do with folks like this in a deep way, beyond a free recording or, a podcast, because that's all the surface stuff, but really customizing it to you, whether it's in a group setting or private work with them, the much faster acceleration you're going to have with your own things, coming to fruition in your own life. So I highly suggest considering participating in those or working with these practitioners one-on-one. Okay, so I think for now that's it for housekeeping. Let's get into Mercury retrograde, and then we'll see how the energy flows and get to some of your questions, and then get to the activation and all that good stuff. We have a lot to cover tonight. I can't believe it's funny. I write these things, and I'm just like, wow, they really want to cover a lot, so I guess I'll be talking fast so we can get it all done within an hour. So Mercury retrograde is really when, all the planets go into some sort of retrograde. So we actually just got out of a Pluto retrograde last month, and there was a couple other ones. And if you can Google all of this and get like the nitty-gritty details, but when Mercury goes into retrograde in particular, it's kind of like the energy is traveling backwards. So what that means is that communications, which is what Mercury governs over, can become very garbled. You do not want to make any major purchases, like, buying a car, buying a home. You don't want to sign contracts. You don't want to initiate big, contractual things during a Mercury in retrograde, what you want, or have, electric surgery or any of those kinds of things. You want to wait until after the retrograde is over. Why is that? Because a lot of times what happens is, with this energy being the way it is, things have to be done twice. So you could, let's say your car breaks down, or let's say you decide to get your car fixed. And I actually, one of the Mercury retrogrades, I had a oil change. And I figured, okay, it's an oil change. What can go wrong with an oil change? Well, let me tell you, I had an oil change, and the mechanic was new to that particular shop. So he didn't fill any of the other fluids. There was no power steering fluid that had leaked out. He put the oil in the wrong place. And it was just all these mishaps, right? So I had to go back and have the oil change done again. Now, when you're dealing with cars in particular, that can be really frustrating, because when you get something fixed during a retrograde, a lot of times it's not fixed properly. So you have to bring it back a second time, or when I get my nails done and they're all falling off within the next day, that type of thing. Not that you shouldn't get your nails done and not that you shouldn't get an oil change. But if you do have to do these things during this time, what you want to make sure you do is, if there's, like, for instance, you have to buy a washer or dryer, or you have to buy a computer, and you really don't want to, but you just have to, make sure you get the extended warranties, buy the travel insurance for this time. I know for my telesummit, I'm booking, speakers for the next telesummit. Now, I will talk to them and I will invite them during this time, and I will even book them with a date, but I won't send their speaker's contract, until after the retrograde is over. And they all know about retrograde too, so they'll say, hey, Mari, can we sign this contract after the retrograde is over? And it's like, I always say, you don't have to tell me twice, of course, but so you don't want to stop everything you're doing and just, hole up in your house and wait for the retrograde to be over. But you want to be prudent. You want to flow with the energy. And that's what we talk about when we talk about polarity. So we've had this huge, nice crescendo of the supermoon and this huge, nice crescendo of the summer solstice and all of this opportunity here. And what the retrograde does, now the purpose of it is, one of the good things about it, is that it balances us. It makes us slow down. It makes us become more aware of our capacity to handle challenges. It makes us, there's some certain things that are really, really good to do during a time of a retrograde. Some of those things that are really good to do during a retrograde is anything that you want to end. If you want to end a relationship, great time to do that is during a retrograde. If you want to lose weight and go on a diet, it's about releasing, letting go of things. So this is a great time to let go of things. We have the solstice, we have the supermoon. That's a huge crescendo of energy to set intention, and to sort of make plans and to plant seeds. And now this 3 weeks is a great time for clearing. If you have a basement to clear out, or you want to clean out underneath your bed, or you want to do deep cleaning, the kind of, clean the moldings and clean the ceiling fan paddles and dig deep into the junk drawers and the closets and all that stuff, Mercury in retrograde is a great time for that. It's a really, really great time for that. Starting a diet, starting an exercise program, letting go, great time. If you have to have an intense heart-to-heart talk with someone, if you want to initiate a relationship, like your first kiss, that kind of thing, you probably want to wait for the first kiss to be after Mercury retrograde. If you're looking to end a relationship, you may want to also wait. And the reason why I say that is because communications can be quite garbled. So if you've ever seen like an EKG machine when they do like a heart monitor test, you know how it's just like very sensitive and it moves at every little beat, every little movement. That's kind of how the energy is now. So if you are in a tense situation with someone, or there's confusion around a particular relationship, or now is not the time to necessarily pick up that gauntlet and try to throw it down, because the way that what you mean may not come across the way you mean it during a retrograde period. It may come across harsher. Have you ever gotten a text message and and you're analyzing the text message and it's like, well, how could he use a period and not an exclamation point? But that's only a comma, and well, they use 10 words in that text, and well, if you love me, use 20, that kind of thing. This is not the time to be analyzing the text messages. It's not the time to be going after someone to marry you. This is not the time to be pushing, for a specific outcome. This is not the time to go head-to-head with someone if you can avoid it, because 9 times out of 10, the way you genuinely mean it is not necessarily how it's going to be received. It's a very intense time, okay? And we also have very heightened energy. Like I said, we had the supermoon, which has a bigger, range of power. That pull, the moon is the lunar energy, is the feminine energy. So that you have more water, more emotion with the supermoon. And then you've got the sun, the summer solstice. We've got a tremendous amount of light right now. We have a tremendous amount of daylight. We have a tremendous amount of influence from the masculine, from the sun. And when you have all that heightened stuff, and then you throw in a retrograde, especially one around communication, it's probably better to, take the high road and just let it be, if you can, until after the retrograde is over. Now, if you are like blowing your stack and you just have to talk to someone, what I would suggest, and this is one of my tips for a retrograde, is to journal about it. Write it down first. Get the edge off. If you're upset with someone, if you're really stressing over a situation, situations can look a lot worse than they actually are during a retrograde. If you happen to have your own deck of angel cards or intuition, like the cards I have, my the intuitive card products, those things that I sell as well, or any of like Doreen Virtue's angel cards, and you pull cards for yourself and you're doing your various oracles, Mercury in retrograde can make those things come up inaccurately. Okay? So if you're pulling cards for yourself, you might want to really tune in and get very quiet and try to discern intuitively, is this true? Is this really true, or is this potentially under the halo of the retrograde? Okay, if it's feeling really off, it may very well be off. So, again, now is the time to lay low, take the high road, give someone the benefit of the doubt. It's okay to wait, have patience. This is not the time for result. This is a great time for meeting. This is a great time for planning. This is a great time for research. This is a great time for configuring. This is a great time for, working with logistics as far as sorting things out. This is a great time for cleaning out, dieting, exercising, anything else, releasing, okay? Those are great activities, right? Drinking lots of water will strengthen your intuition so you can get better messages during the retrograde. Drinking your water, really important. Water is a magnifier, okay? It's an amplifier of information, for information. So you will heighten your intuition by your journaling. You will heighten your intuition by your drinking of your water. You will heighten your intuition and strengthen your intuition to get clear messages during the retrograde by doing your deep breathing, doing your yoga, doing your Tai Chi, going out to the ocean if, it's the summer now, if you're on either of the coast or by a body of water. Great time to do that. This is also a time where it's kind of nature's natural way to get us to slow down so we listen and so that we receive, okay? That we receive information, that we receive insight, that we receive inspiration, okay? But if you are going to try to be a bull in the china shop during Mercury in retrograde, and I see this a lot, where people say, oh, you know what, Mari, that's your airy-fairy woo-woo stuff, and they go off. I've seen this. I had a friend who was a mortgage broker, and she, and the real estate agent, you know, and they would call me and try to force me to psychically tell them that their deals were going to go through because they just had to do the deal right now. And I would say, well, you know, go ahead and sign your contract, but just expect that you're going to have to sign it a second time. And 9 times out of 10, they did. 9 times out of 10, something would go wrong with the inspection. Or a lot of times with the houses, what would happen is they would find something in the inspection, or the inspection wouldn't happen. There would be some sort of delay, or something wouldn't go clear to close, or some, you know, it just wouldn't come together. And then the week after the retrograde, everything just fell into place. So if something doesn't come together like you hope, if that check doesn't come on time, all that kind of stuff, the way that you want to deal with that is to just get centered and know that the one difference between something being a true crisis, like it normally would be at other times of the year, and being a Mercury in retrograde mishap, is that anything that has to do with the retrograde usually has a solution come up really fast behind the mishap. So let's say you have a car breakdown or something, your computer goes wonky, which happens a lot. I'm going to give you some guides to call into some of these things to help you out. I've known in the past I've had, you get a virus or something, and then right when you're about to panic, you don't panic. You say, okay, this is a retrograde. And then you just get quiet and you say, okay, what is the divine solution at this time for this? And you'll be amazed how quickly, I remember I had a computer issue during a retrograde, and I called I just heard call Joan, and I called my friend, and she says, oh, well, I have an amazing guy who'll come to the house, and he's $50, and, blah, blah, blah. And, the next day there he was at the house fixing everything. So I actually got a resource that I could call on, later, who was affordable, who would actually do house calls for the computers out of a retrograde. So something good came out of it. But it was a very quick solution that shows up, okay? During the normal year, sometimes that won't happen that quickly, so it's like a genuine, true crisis. But during a retrograde, it's usually like you have an issue, and then you have a quick solution that shows up after the issue, okay? So that's how you kind of know that it's just more wonky energy and not, cataclysmic crisis. The other way to strengthen your intuition when it comes to a Mercury in retrograde time is to focus more on your dreams, because that's a much clearer way to get, information directly to you that's not being affected by the retrograde. So the way that you program a dream, and I've talked about this on the show before, but the way that you program a dream to get messages, and again, it involves your water and involves your journal, is right before you go to sleep, you're going to take you're going to put a glass of water next to your bed in a journal. You're going to close your eyes or write in the journal, rather, what it is you'd like to get information about. You're going to drink half a glass of water. You're going to go to sleep. And then when you wake up, you drink the other half a glass of water, and then you write down what you remember. And you can, then you can go into what we call the morning pages, where you write your 3 pages. Just free associate, just freehand it, write your 3 pages, and you will get the insights. That's a really good way to get more accurate information and more accurate messages during a retrograde. Use your dream time more consciously. You can even ask to, as you're going to sleep, please help a portion of me, my regular waking consciousness, to stay aware and bring me the specific information I need at this time when I wake up. Okay, and that will give you, that's a really good tool, especially during a retrograde when in your regular day things are wonky. And you can use those dreams to sort things out. All right, so those are some good basic tools. I use all these myself, and they're reliable. They're very, very reliable, but you have to do them. You have to do them and not second guess. Because when you start to second guess and you're sending the energy into more of a spin limit, then it's already in. So here's 3 guides also that you can call on during a retrograde period. The one that you want to really, really lean on during a retrograde is Archangel Michael. Archangel Michael is for protection. He's for clarity. He governs over light workers, so especially for life purpose and career and stuff. But what most people don't know about Archangel Michael is that one of his pet projects is helping with technology. So if you have an issue with your computers or anything electronic, you can call on his energy, and you'll be amazed at how quickly the solution will rise up. And if it does require a repairman or some sort of, virus protection or whatever it is, you'll get the insight on what that is. But Archangel Michael is the one you call, and just say, Archangel Michael. You can call his name 3 times and then just say, can you please give me the divine solution for this in divine timing, and allow it to show up. Archangel Haniel governs the planetary influence and moon cycle. So she's great to, she's actually been coming in a lot of my personal channeling sessions as of last week or so. And she's around very strongly now with the supermoon, the solstice. This is kind of her, her red carpet time. So she is an archangel that you can call on as well for helping you to feel a sense of centeredness and balance during this time. If you happen to have a day that's particularly emotional, feel like everything's going wrong, you can just call on her to help you to get grounded. And then Archangel Jeremiel is for emotional balance, emotional healing. And a lot of times during a retrograde, things do come up. If you're struggling financially and then you have retrograde stuff coming and you're not getting paid the way you thought you would, or somebody doesn't send you the check or whatever, and you start to panic, Archangel Jeremiel can help you to detach emotionally. And sometimes you're praying for the relationship to work out or the money to show up. You're praying for the end result. But what you really need to ask for is for ease in the process of getting to the end result. And that will help a lot if you pray for detachment from the outcome. So yes, you want to hear from that love of your life, or yes, you want that money to do whatever it is you need to do, whether it's paying a bill or some sort of bigger thing. The way that you handle that is to ask for detachment. Pray for that sense of peace, and just not feel that attachment to the outcome where you're literally losing sense of yourself. Pray for detachment. And Archangel Jeremiel in particular, and Archangel Uriel too, are very, very good for that detachment. I know every time I pray for detachment, especially when I pull in those guys, within an hour, I all of a sudden feel this sense of lightness, and I can think about the situation, because, our mental mind likes to stir things up. And my mental mind can, think about, I can see the person's face in my mind's eye, and I don't feel an emotional charge on it. I just feel like, okay, it is what it is. And that's so much more of a powerful place to be than, oh my God, what did I do? What happened? What is it? That kind of thing. So Archangel Jeremiel is wonderful for that. So those are 3 guides that can help you, all right? So I see a lot of you calling in. I'm going to take a quick break. I need to get something to drink. And my mouth is dry today. We're going to take a really quick break, and then when we come back, we're going to do some readings, and then we're going to get our activation in, okay? So don't go away. If you'd like to get a reading, I would love to hear from you tonight. The number is 347-215-9485. It's 347-215-9485. I'm Mari. You're listening to the Aha Moments radio show, and we will be right back.
Ever get a hunch about something and ignore it, only to find out later you were right after all? Do you know that you're intuitive but need help interpreting what you get? Need quick answers to burning questions but don't have the time to wait for a private reading? Then Mari's Intuitive Living Oracle cards are the tool for you. 45 gorgeous laminated cards and a full book of interpretations come together in a beautiful velvet bag. The cards have been designed and energized to give you the answers right now. No more sleepless nights weighing pros and cons. Ask the cards your questions and see what message your intuition has for you. To learn more and get your deck now, go to the store at www.ahamomentsinc.com and click on the Intuitive Living cards now. That's the store at ahamomentsinc.com. The answers are truly within your reach.
Are you at a crossroads in your life, facing big decisions about your life purpose, business, relationships, or other major issues? Are you wondering why you may be delayed in getting what you want? Or if you have special guides who are helping you? Then investing in a private intuitive reading with Mari is just what you need. As a third-generation spiritual intuitive, Mari has worked with thousands of clients over the past 18 years. During your private session, you will learn who your guides are, receive insight on the core issues that need attention, and get new perspective, clarity, and inspiration on what to do next. To register, go to www.ahamomentsinc.com and click on the Work with Mari tab to get all of the details. There are a limited number of spots each month, so go to www.ahamomentsinc.com for yours now.
Step back in time to the very beginning, before life as we know it existed. Stones have been on this earth since before the inception of man. They are keepers of ancient wisdom and messages. Tap into the profound wisdom of stones and let your journey begin at the Rock Girl Sacred Stone School. Let the Rock Girl take you back to those ancient days to learn firsthand the language and the secrets of stones. The Rock Girl will teach you how to develop your very own technique of communicating with them, allowing you to embark on your own path of self-discovery. Courses include Reiki, psychic development, chakra balancing and auric cleansing, hands-on healing, and more. Visit sacredstoneschool.com for classes and workshops taught exclusively by the Rock Girl of therockgirl.com.
Hello, we are back. I'm Mari. You're listening to the Aha Moments radio show, and tonight we're talking all about getting your messages during the Mercury in retrograde. And we're going to take a couple of calls right now, and then we'll get into our meditation for tonight so that we can get ourselves balanced and have a little resource, have a tool to use during the next 3 weeks if things start to get a little dicey with the energy. And hopefully head off some of that and get ourselves in alignment with the various churns and flows that happen at this time. So, again, if you'd like to call in and see if you can get in the queue for a question, the number is 347-215-9485. Okay, so, Sam, I think we will take Erin in California first. Erin, are you there? Hi, Erin. How are you?
I'm doing good. Thanks for taking my call.
I'm excited. Tell me, what can I help you with tonight?
Well, I still have some confusion around my purpose. I feel like I totally know what it is now, but the how's not coming, and I'm wondering if maybe there's something I still need to surrender for it to really come. And if you have any.
Let me ask you this: what purpose do you feel it is? What are you perceiving as your life purpose right now?
To help teens with food addiction and weight loss.
Oh, great. That's really good. That's really good. And where do you feel that it's not coming together?
I think feeling like I still don't have the confidence in myself.
Do you have any sense that you might hurt someone in the process of doing what you do?
I didn't think so, but now that you say it, yeah.
Yeah, because that's what they're saying. They're saying that you're afraid you're going to tell someone the wrong thing, or that you're going to hurt someone by giving them advice that may not be the right thing for them. And what they want you to know is that when you are a, quote, healer, unquote, or a facilitator, you're actually a facilitator of healing. You're really not the healer. So as long as you see yourself as a conduit for the information that person needs in order for them to make a decision as to whether they want to heal or not, you're doing your job. Because you're very passionate. And so you've taken on more than what's actually your job, because really when you're in that line of work, you're working as a representative of the greater energy, right, of God, of the God of your understanding, of spirit, of the universe, whatever you want to call it, whatever resonates with you. So you're really a facilitator, a partner in facilitation of healing. And then the person, you're kind of like the garden hose, that you have the water coming out of the spigot, and then you have the potted plant that you're watering, right? So the patient would be the potted plant, would be the receiver, and the water would be the universe, and you're that tool that's the channel of that energy, of that water, from one side to the other. Well, it's the same thing when you're in the line of work that you're thinking about. So a lot of times what I see happen, especially with people who are really, really empathic and really genuinely care about what they're doing, is they take on the outcome as their responsibility. And then they get really frightened and they stop the flow because they're worried that they might do something wrong and they have to be perfect. You don't have to be perfect. You just have to be willing to perceive what that client needs, to whatever modality, whatever practice you're going to be employing, or whatever you have in your toolkit. You're going to be in connection with spirit to understand what's really needed, and to allow yourself to be that communicator and facilitator, but to allow the patient the power, the self-power, to receive it and do with it what they choose to do with it. If they choose to heal, they will. And if they choose not to, they may not. But that's not your fault. And if you can detach from having to control their ultimate outcome, I think that all the resources that you're sort of blocking right now will start to flow through. Does that make sense?
Yes, that helps a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel some relief with you. And that's the thing. It's a very honorable thing, but it's also a tall order. You're dealing with people who are underage. So there's even that bigger, like, oh, God. And then you're dealing with parents who are looking and staring at you like, oh, you're going to fix my kid? You're going to fix my kid? I mean, there's a lot.
Yeah.
There's a lot, right? There's a lot. There's a lot of pressure. So if you can stand in that detached, like what we were talking about earlier, that detached place, it's not, detached doesn't mean abrasive. Detached doesn't mean not care. The detachment is actually making room for the power of the patient. Okay. That patient has to be invested, and that's what these kids need, especially when they're going through eating disorders. It's usually because they're feeling powerless. And if they can control their food, then they can control their world, and they can control their parents because their parents are freaked out that they're eating too much or that they're throwing up or they're not eating enough, whatever. But as a healer, as that facilitator of healing, okay, you are there to empower them, give them all the tools and all the compassion and the educated ear and the open heart space, right, to support them on their journey and to also help them to make the choice to step into their greatest experience here on the planet by choosing to adopt whatever tools, whatever mind, I call it mind flow. I don't like the word mindset, but whatever points of view they need to be able to choose to heal. If you can start to sort that out, you can listen to the podcast again because I'm using a lot of phraseology that's encoded energetically. You're getting it cellularly, not just in your head. So if you don't get your head wrapped around it this minute, it's okay. But if you can get that essence, then I think you'll have a much easier time of it. It feels like you're on the right purpose, for sure. Okay. But I think you were just trying to take too much responsibility for how it turns out. I also feel like you're going to be writing books and speaking about this a lot. It'll probably be 3 to 5 years in, a little bit deeper when you've had a lot of clients have like these big success stories, and then you can start to see various patterns of what works. But I really feel like you're going to be talking a lot about the empowered healer, that sort of that ability to release the outcome and to empower the patient to make their decisions to choose to heal or not. So hopefully that helps a little bit.
Yeah, it does. I can't wait to listen again.
I know.
This really helps a lot. Yeah.
Oh, good. Good. Well, enjoy, and good luck, and let us know how you do, okay?
Okay, thanks so much.
Okay, have a great night, Erin. Take care. All right, let's get another person in here. How about Lorraine in Massachusetts? Hi, Lorraine, are you there?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. How are you tonight?
I'm good, thank you. I'm having to make a decision about, my mother had 2 strokes, and she's in Israel on a respirator with a tracheostomy right now, and I was going to go, like my vacation is now, and then I heard that it was Mercury Retrograde, and I live in Cheshire, Massachusetts, so there's a lot involved, and with the airports, and then I also don't get along with my sister, who I have to stay with when I go there. So I don't know that it's better for me to go now, even with Mercury retrograde, or to wait until my next vacation in like August, or even go a couple of weeks earlier in the beginning of August to visit her. But the thing is, one never knows when somebody's going to die. She's been like that for 6 months already, and she's conscious. And she seems to be having some sort of awakening because even with her voice not being able to talk because of the thing in her throat, she actually yells at her caregiver go when they put a Q-tip up her nose to clean it. So, so she's conscious, and she opens her eyes, and she's watching Fox News, which she loves. So she's still there, and the only way I can communicate with her is if my sister puts the cell phone to her ear while she's visiting her, and I can, tell her I love you and what's going on in my life, but I can't, she can't talk to me. So I have all this grief because I can't make a decision about when to go. Usually I've been very good about this, but it's like my guides keep telling me not to go right now. So, but every time I think of her, I start crying. So I don't know what's best to do right now. So,
well, I think that first of all, similar to the last caller, I think this is a lot about personal power. You're seeing, here's somebody who has clearly, on a physical level, been through a lot, right? That they're losing various faculties, but she's still scrappy enough and still in her power enough to demand something for her personal well-being and quality of life. And that spirit and that tenacity is the part that you need to celebrate. So I understand the idea of the grieving, but grieving is resisting what currently is, those transitions, and anticipating the future. So it's kind of living in the past of, wanting things to be maybe the way they used to, and then living in the future of what could potentially be. She won't be here in however many years, months, whatever it is. Yeah. But you really then miss the power of the present moment, which is she can pretty much fight for herself right now, tracheotomy and all. She's like, okay, get the Q-tip out of my nose. Are you kidding me? So that piece of it, and you can have the cell phone up to your ear, and you can say, listen, I love you. Maybe you don't need to be able to have a full out, conversation the way you could have 10 years ago, But this is where you are now. I have a friend whose mother was just diagnosed with ovarian cancer, and he had just gotten the news last week, the first day, and he calls me up and he's sobbing, and how am I going to tell my son? How am I going to get my, son through it? She raised, helped raise his kids and whatnot as their babysitter or whatever. And I said, she's alive and well. She walks in and out of chemo fine. Obviously as fine as you can be in chemo, but she's coherent. She's walking. She's sitting in the house drinking tea. Enjoy the day for today, the minute for the minute. Yes, it is natural when you have someone who's in a long-term medical situation to start to anticipate what it will be later. But this is a really powerful time where you have choice to be focused and centered on the moment. And the best quality, what you need to ask for is, what is the best quality of moment that I can have with what we have available to us now? And that can actually help to filter the grieving process a bit. It can temper it. Because you don't want to overload your circuits before their time. Because when it's time to really grieve her, when she does pass, and everybody will, when it's time to actually really grieve her, there will be a piece of you that will detach, and you'll be able to get through it. My fiance died, and, you think, oh, my God, you can't get through it. I did get through it. I did get through it. You always miss him, but you get through it. You get through. My father died. You get through it. When the time is right, you will get through that time. But for today, work with the resources and the opportunities you have for today, and minute by minute. So that's tool number one. As far as when you go and when you don't go, I think that you're losing sight of the guidance on that because you're spinning from past to future. Past to future. So when you step into that present moment, just ask yourself, is it time for me to go? And see how you feel in your body. If you get a tightness, if you get a hot flash, if it feels heavy, if your stomach slips, then no, it's not the time to go. If you get a wave of coolness, a lightness, sometimes you get goosebumps, then your body is saying, yes, go. I think that either way, if you listen to that aspect of you, then Mercury retrograde or not, you'll be there. You'll get there safely and soundly, and everything will flow. Things can flow during a retrograde, but what will get garbled is your ability to discern that emotional thing that's going on right now. Does this make sense?
Hello?
Does it make sense to you? Hello? Can you hear me?
Yes, it makes. And I'm coming up with ways of. I'm a shaman, so I put her in I put a picture of her in my mesa, with my prayer bundle. So I'm coming up with ways of, dealing, staying present with her in the way I can from a distance. And then, I would let her know when I talk on the phone with her, what I'm doing, because when she was able to talk, I asked for her permission if I was able to do healings for her, and she said yes. Mm-hmm. So that's how I've been doing it.
Excellent. So you're still present. You're working with what you have to be able to work with, and you're maximizing that, and that's the best you can do, and that's all that anybody would expect. And so then that's, what you can expect from yourself. I would also just give you one last piece of advice before we jump. I have to get to the next call, but and that is to nurture yourself during this time. It feels like you're neglecting yourself a bit.
Yes, that's a big issue.
Yeah. So it feels like, you're dehydrated and that you need some nurturing and you need a massage and you need some of this energy work yourself to be able to be present for her without it leaching into your, you're just being on fumes. You need to fill up the tank a bit so that you can be there with a little bit more efficiency energetically and a little bit more ease physically. Does that make sense?
That was my feeling now. That was my feeling of why I'm not supposed to go now, because I need my vacation time to chill out and take care of myself.
Yep.
Yeah.
And that can be a great gift to her in the long run. So hopefully that's helped. I wish you all the best. And
thank you very much. That was very helpful.
Good. Have a great night. Okay. Sam, you know what I want to do? I want to do this activation, and then when we finish, maybe I can get to a couple more calls. We'll see if we can do that time-wise. But can you pull up the music for us? And we're going to just go into a little bit of a meditation, just to kind of, that was a good segue from that last caller, to get centered and just to be able to flow with the energy right now and over the next 2 weeks. All right? So, okay, Sam, you can go ahead with the music, and let's see what the guides have to say. I don't know what they're going to say yet, so we're going to channel this. We'll see what they come up with. They've been pretty cool this week. All right. So for now, you can close your eyes and take a nice deep breath. And as you inhale, say, I am. And as you exhale, relax. And as you inhale, I am. And as you exhale, at peace. And just breathing deeply, getting centered, and just becoming very aware of your body and how it feels. Taking a little bit of an inventory, going from your head, from your top of your head, your crown chakra, and just going down through the third eye, through the throat chakra, through the heart, through the solar plexus, through the sacral chakra, and down through the root, just feeling a sense of wave of relaxation, a wave of releasing anything that could get in the way of you receiving very clear guidance from your intuition and getting clear direction at this time. And allowing yourself to feel now beautiful iridescent white light pouring down through the top of your head, all the way through your body, down into the earth. And that is the above, receiving the energy from above. And now feeling a beautiful column of light coming up through the base of your spine, from the earth, from below, the earth energy, the grounding energy, the centering energy. Feeling that energy from below coming up through all the chakras and out of the top of your head. Breathing deeply, feeling that sense of centeredness, that sense of everything that might be swirling around you right now. All of the worries, the fears, the concerns, the stops and the starts that are very common to Mercury in retrograde, the surprises, the unforeseen mishaps. Letting all of that go, and especially letting go of anything that you think they might mean. It's very easy to assign meanings to things going on during a retrograde that just aren't so. Very easy to feel foggy. And if you envision in front of you a beautiful lake filled with fog, beautiful mist, and seeing the water churning and seeing the mist, and now seeing the water go still and the mist completely dissolving, taking a nice deep breath and just feeling the stillness. All of the churn stops. For you, in your world, in your energy, the churn has stopped. The fog has lifted. And as you look at your own reflection in the water, you see the images of the solution that you are seeking. You see it playing out almost like a movie, right in the reflection there. And saying to yourself, to the energy, to your greater self, your infinite self, I'm open to receive the divine solution. I am open to be centered, to find clarity and to receive clarity, and to receive the best set of action steps that are for the highest and greatest good of all concerned at this time, in perfect divine timing. I am open to receive nurturing and guidance, and I'm open to be fully in my power regardless of what's going on around me now. And just be still for a moment as all of your cells are activating, magnetically strengthening themselves so they can draw in all of the resources, all of the power, all of the energy, as well as receive all of the fortification and the clarity and the clearing that you need at this time. Breathing deeply. Taking it all in. And now allowing yourself to just be. And saying to yourself, I am exactly as I need to be right now. All is well. I am open to receive and willing to accept all that the universe has for me now. All is well. And so it is. And taking a nice deep breath, on the count of 3, you become very, very alert, completely connected back into your physical body, into your room, on your chair, wherever you are sitting or lying at this time. On the count of 3, you'll open your eyes, feeling wide awake, feeling better than you were before the meditation. 1, 2, 3. Great. So, that was powerful. I love those guys. They always come up with something. And it's so important to be able to source the true you during this time. And if you can do that, and if you do, even if you want to do that meditation every, daily, if you want during Mercury retrograde, or, as you see fit, as you feel that you need to, I would just allow yourself to use this time to strengthen yourself. And it's a wonderful opportunity to find that center, to be in that centered space. So I think what I'm getting energetically is that we're all in our connected space. So I'm not going to take any more calls tonight just because I don't want to get us ratcheted into problem solving. I want you all to stay in this good, strong, connected space that we're in. And we'll take some more calls next week. Actually, Karen Abrams will be on next week with me, and I'm really excited. We're going to be doing some theta healing, which will be really, really, really powerful and fun. And so for tonight, though, I just want to say that you can make sure if you want to join that Power Boost class, make sure to go ahead and register for that, ahamomentsinc.com/Power Boost. And I think that's it for tonight. Just know you truly can have exactly what you want. You absolutely deserve it too. And in this energy, even if it's Mercury in retrograde, anything is possible. Have a great week, everybody. See you next Tuesday. Take care.
You've been listening to the Aha Moments radio show with your host, Mari. Be sure to visit her blog and website at www.ahamomentsinc.com. That's AHA, moments with an S, inc.com. Also join Mari on Facebook at www.facebook.com/ahamomentsinc and Twitter at twitter.com/ahamoments. We can't wait to see you there.